Hello, I'm recording this special video for a Carol Turkowski. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced the name, but Carol has asked a very interesting question. When you get the result of 1, doesn't the numerator have to equal the denominator? So no matter what value x is, it must equal n squared. If x is 5, n squared is 5, and dividing you get 1. What am I doing wrong? Right, well, first of all, when you get the result of 1, doesn't the numerator have to equal the denominator? Yes, it does. We have a over b equals 1. If we simply multiply through by b, we get a equals b. So yes, the denominator and the numerator have to be the same. So no matter what value x is, it must equal n squared. Okay, now you've lost me. There's no n in this equation. We have 4x squared, 4 to the power of x squared divided by 4 to the power of x equals 1. Is it possible that this x in the numerator looks a bit like an n? Is that what's going on? But when you listen to what the gentleman says, it definitely sounds like an x. Let's have a listen.
4x is equal to 1, then what about x? Now question of the day, 4 to power x square upon 4 to power x is equal to 1, then what?
So we're dealing with 4 to the power x squared divided by 4 to the power x equals 1. There is no n. So if you're doing anything at all wrong, it's that you misread this x as an n. And that's almost certainly down to his handwriting. As a person who suffers from bad handwriting myself, I fully understand. If x is 5, n squared is 5. Well, that would be correct if this was 4 to the power n squared and not 4 to the power x squared. So yes, whatever the numerator is, the denominator must also be. However, in this case, it's x squared, so it's the same variable throughout. So we have 4 to the power x squared divided by 4 to the power x. So x squared is equal to x. So let's look at this situation here. We have x squared is equal to x. So what values can make x squared and x the same? Well, if we subtract x from both sides, we have x squared minus x equals 0. If we factor out the x, we have x into x minus 1 equals 0. And because of my terrible handwriting, I am going to tidy that up because I don't want anyone thinking my 1 is a 7. Right, so whenever you have a product and the result is 0, it means at least one of the factors must be 0. So either x equals 0 or x minus 1 equals 0. In which case x is equal to 1. So we have two numbers that when squared do not change. So 0 squared equals 0 and 1 squared equals 1. Now, as someone else has pointed out, we can't have a 0 on the denominator. But that's okay because we have 4 to the power x squared over 4 to the power x, and that's equal to 1. Now if x is 0, we have 4 to the power 0 divided by 4 to the power 0 is equal to 1, and anything that's not 0 when raised to the power of 0 will always equal 1. So this comes to 1 over 1 equals 1. So x equals 0 is a valid solution, and 4 to the power 1 squared over 4 to the power 1 is equal to 4 to the power 1 divided by 4 to the power 1, which is equal to 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. So x equals 1 is also a valid solution. So our two solutions are x equals 0 and x equals 1. thank you very much for raising such an interesting question. I hope that was helpful. Take care now. Bye bye.